morning, afternoon to everybody that's joined. We're going to give everybody a few more minutes to for the join us. So we're going to wait and going to kick off in 5 minutes. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everybody. Last arrival. So for joining. Full planned day. My Daryl Ullman, and the Chief Consulting Officer for Emerset Consulting Group. We're going to talk about Microsoft Cloud licensing and negotiation readiness. The negotiation readiness is going to be in context of calls with preparing for a cloud renewal. What have we got planned for today? We have cloud strategy, put it into context with what they're doing from a sales perspective. 65 suites, so the options available in E1, E3, E4. We're even going to talk about the new 5 just being published a day or two ago. For ECS, the Enterprise Cloud Suite, that's Microsoft's latest push cloud. It's a new suite. There's some new vendors that will talk the new Windows user-based license. Put into context regarding how to prepare for the negotiations, how to prepare for a cloud negotiation, what different and what count for. Little terms that are really, really important. They've changed substantially over the last couple of years, and to point out some really key aspects that you need to be aware of coming into the negotiations. Cloud sales strategy. Sorry about that. Very, very clear strategy. This is not their corporate cloud strategy. This is what we're seeing happening in the field. So we're seeing that Microsoft is pushing first to give organizations a cloud contract. So around the renewal period, we've got an coming renewal, and 1 year is up for renewal. Microsoft is going to be particularly is for you to sign up for an Office 365 combination of cloud and premise. They way to get you locked in to the Office 365 proposition. That's the first step. It's regardless if you've got an Office 365 online strategy or not, it's sure Microsoft wants to take you. And the result is the key enabler. Your renewal is a key enabler for that initial move. The next is basically getting you, once you've got the licenses, is to on the cloud. So strategy and what's seeing is that exchange is first. So online is the most adopted first migration that we're seeing within companies. So it become a standard practice, but it's very common. So exchange is today as to first application on the web. Then SharePoint, and then followed by Skype for Business, being Microsoft Link. Very well planned migration. And once you've got the exchange online, slowly but slowly organizations then move to SharePoint and to Skype. Then you're on the cloud. And now then you're receiving the value for the licenses that you purchased. The last bit is Office Professional 365. Organizations aren't always aware about and implications is that you will need to a Office 365 version. You'll not be able to continue using your standard Office 2007, 2010, or 2013 on-premise version. This is a new version. It's a 365 version. It's an evergreen version. It's updated and upgraded all the time. In order to continue to go on, you basically go online. So it's a whole new process. We'll talk about this a bit as we move forward. So basically, these are the standard stages organizations that Microsoft is going forward with. So you need to be aware of Microsoft's overall go-to strategy from perspective. So what's changing or what's changed? from a online Office 365 perspective. So I think one of the big changes is from a financial perspective. You look at online being a operational expense, compared to NDDA that's a expense, an operational expense, depending if you're renewing an agreement, then it's an operational expense. Buying new licenses, then there's an amount of capex involved. So your financial department, financial accounting organization do understand this because this is the way that you recognize the organization recognizes the future. You've moved to a subscription-based license, subscription slash service, no longer perpetual. You don't own the license. There is a option to opt out agreement. Again, something that we're going to review later on. So there's a substantial change. Terms, Microsoft features. Microsoft is being very aggressive to add new features only to the cloud option. Now we've seen it with late from some Microsoft's partner summit that's going as we speak in the US, that new features are being cloud offering and not to the standard prepared. So doing more value to the cloud, again, enabling customers to use what they've purchased on the basis and keeping them locked into the cloud platform. This is going to make it very, very, very difficult for organizations want to start utilizing more management and security features of the cloud to actually opt out or to migrate back to an on-premise infrastructure in the future. So pricing, we last 2 years, Microsoft has actually reduced on Azure, Intune, 365 pricing has all dropped. We're a stage where pricing is stabilized. So client side stabilized, but on the perpetual side, it's actually being increased. Look at what just happened. There's an announcement. Microsoft's on-prem accounts have just been up by 10%. So it's a really obvious strategy. Online stable, making it more lucrative to move online. Negotiation time. So then what's seen in the last year is that with negotiation time, your EA's up for renewal. Microsoft is positioning online services as well strategic. So we've heard customers or Microsoft saying to customers, if you don't move to the cloud, you don't take the cloud offerings, then longer view as a strategic customer. Problematic in itself, but let's be on the side. From a discounting perspective, Microsoft is prior discounts to offerings than to NDDAs, making it almost possible to refuse a cloud, an online 365 offer because it's just that much better. So be aware of that going into negotiations. Just put everything into context. Just as the 365 suite, there's a lot of material here. We spend just a day down to the features, details of the packages. I want to really try to keep this high. When we get the Q&A session, if anybody wants to just ask some very specific questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So I'll start with some of the key key features or key packages. This is something that we've put together to make things a really complex metrics of features and bundles to a whole comprehensive view. So what have we got here? So looking at the plans over here, let's start with this. There are actually four plans that are most common. We have E1, R365, E1, R365, E3, E4, and ECS. It could be an E2 platform as well, or suite. It's been discontinued 18 months ago. Actually, a new suite that's just been announced, the R365 E5. It'll replace the E4, so it's not going to be E4 and E5. It's been published is that E5 is going to replace the E4 package. I'll add in some details about what that E5 is going to include in a second. So to understand the way the package is actually bundled, so if we look at the E1, to the side you'll see the workload and the key features. So the E1 work basically consists of Skype for Business, what everybody is acquainted to as Link. Then you have Yammer. Yammer is an example of a product that's only available online. Point Online, SharePoint Standard Cal, Exchange Online or Exchange Standard. Then you have Microsoft Web Apps. So this is part of the E1. That E1 includes Plus. So you've got Plus, Microsoft Office, of course, online and perpetual. Online and on-prem. Then you have Exchange and SharePoint, the enterprise versions. You have and you also have, it's not over here, but you also have Link Enterprise Cal as well. It adds on Skype for Business. I got confused here. So the Skype for Business Link Plus, so it used to be Link Plus, is E4 package. So the E3, part of the E4 package. Go to E5. Just so E5 is going to include capabilities such as cloud, PBX, meeting broadcast, a whole bunch of new analytic features like Power BI Pro, and it's got security features coming out. So again, E4 is going to be replaced by E5. E5 is going to be replaced by E4, and be a price increase as well. Again, not published currently, but we will say around $10 per month increase E5. So that's a big increase. $10 per month, $120 per year per user. That's a big jump. So ES is the Enterprise Cloud Suite. This is a big push to the cloud. So if E3 was Microsoft's main strategy, 6 or E4 was just an one, is now the go-to suite. So Microsoft will talk about, they'll come to an organization and talk about the ECS. One of the big differences, the ECS includes everything that we just reviewed, include all the words or features that we've just reviewed, plus. So plus what? Enterprise Mobility Suite over here. So the Enterprise Mobility Suite is Microsoft Active Directory, or Microsoft management capabilities online. So you have stuff like Active Directory Premium, Intune, rights management. I've actually got a slide of this. They've got one of the biggest shifts and changes is Microsoft Windows per user. Windows per user is a fundamental change in the way Microsoft licenses with it's on a per device metric, and Microsoft has recently used a per user metric. Again, slide on that. The theory is that the ECS package includes user. So anywhere the E3 or E4 package, it's a nation actually. It's a combination of on a per user basis, on a per user basis, and then Windows OS on a per device metric. So if you stay with one of the E packages, you're still managing a hybrid environment. A hybrid environment meaning from a licensing perspective, the OS is managed on a per device metric, and everything else is on a per user metric. So a bit of a nightmare from a licensing perspective and a management perspective. Another view, how to look at the packages. The reason I brought this up, not to confuse you, to show you that there are multiple packages out there. As an enterprise organization, you over here. So the packages, the K1 being kiosk, and this is just a nice way of seeing what's included in each package, just a different view of what we viewed. E1, E1, E3, E4. There are government packages and there are educational packages as well. There are differentiations between the two, between three, sorry. And then you have your small organization packages. There's business premium, mid-sized business. Relevant for large organizations. And then you have some of the enterprise add-ons, the mobility suite, the cloud that we just discussed, and we're going to take a quick look at the dynamic CRM over here in a minute. All right, the online services are slightly categorized differently to what I showed you. This is Microsoft licensing strategy. So you have Exchange Online, and then you have online kiosk, and then you have Plan 2. Plan 2, these correspond to what you might be acquainted of as Exchange Standard Cal, Exchange Standard Enterprise Cal. It's the equivalent Plan 1 to Standard, Plan 2 to Enterprise Cal compared to on-premise. You have the SharePoint and so on and so on and so on. To show you over here, again, this is just Microsoft licensing view. Again, E5 coming soon. So this to point out, again, this is just a continuation of the previous slide, is that from a CRM perspective, also being some updates over here. So everybody might be aware of CRM Professional, and then there's the Lite edition. There's introduction of a new online service called Microsoft CRM Online Enterprise Edition. And then include new features such as Microsoft Dynamic Marketing and social engagement. So these are all online features and new addition to Microsoft CRM. I'll show you exactly where to get all of these documentation. You can keep updated what's happening and which are the relevant and official documents actually should be tracking as a soft enterprise customer. So suite that I spoke about, this is Microsoft's big push. So this thing changes here. So this today. So today is on the left-hand side. This is basically how enterprise organizations are running their on-premise licensing. You have your Exchange services, Link services, SharePoint. What I want to point out is, again, hybrid. So you've got Office Professional if you're looking at an on-prem installation on a per device, and over here also on a per device. Take the standard package and go to the cloud one, the eSuite, and Office will turn to a per user. Windows will stay on a per device. Once you price Cloud Suite, ECS, then this is really a true per user metric. It goes on a per user metric. Office as licenses and Windows as well. Again, big shift. This is changed 25 years of Microsoft's licensing dominance in Microsoft to license every single device out there in the organization. So for every single device that it uses, range a lot of classes. So user metric, you're looking at putting the user in the center. So you've got user and you have his applications, not applications, devices, and multiple devices out there today. Starting from standard desktops, laptops, tablets, iOS operating system, Android, and so this really puts the user in the middle because you're getting tough managing from a licensing perspective, multiple devices. It's much easier to look at through a user process, and this is really a key move. The current device licensing flows over here on the left-hand side. So if you have a look at the licensing requirements, it's easy. Every device needs a Windows license. Installations, VI of desktop optimization pattern on the Windows OS. Again, it's per device. VDI for a single device. Nothing here is based on a user method. So you're managing multiple devices, multiple licenses. On the right, this is the push to the Windows OS on a per user basis. So that the primary user does still need his OEM Pro on any device. It's up for his laptop. Once enabled, basically install Windows Enterprise Edition on an additional device that the user has. And it gets, there are no benefits into virtualization. So you have your VDI subscription license based on a per user, giving you virtual desktop experience for iOS machines, Android machines, and so on. Just makes it that much easier it's IT to deliver services at lower cost. Microsoft has come towards customers in that aspect, and it's much easier to change from a licensing perspective as well. Mobility suite. This is in part of the ECS and the mobility suite. Components here, and is being enhanced. Again, some additional news coming from the Microsoft conference, partner conference. So what here, just in a nutshell, we have identity management coming from Azure, Microsoft Azure, components such as Active Directory Premium, there's just enhancement, security reports, audit reports, password reset, ability to connect your on-premise Active Directory to your Azure Active Directory. Device management, this is really big today. Mobility and keeping mobile device applications in your protocols and security protocols. So it is cloud-based. And then, of course, you have your Azure rights management, the security part, infant protection, and and the mobility part. You have the selective wipe, basically the enablement of to wipe a machine from remotely if it gets lost or stolen. So again, this is a big push. Most of these systems are not available on. So again, jumping out where Microsoft is going, where the features are being pushed out, is they're being pushed out to online services. Customers online. There are services that not all customers are aware of. Organizations. So Visio and Project have an online offering as well. Keep that in mind. Pretty good pricing actually. There are two main versions: Visio Pro, so there's no Visio Standard, and it's basically the Project Professional. Just keep in mind, we just saw something in an agreement that was signed in June. There was a bit of a up there, Microsoft side, and we actually didn't pick it up. We learned. So just help you with just to give some of our experience. Two versions of Project Online. The Project Hybrid Online. Basically, you get Project Online and Project On-Prem use. And there's another SKU that just gives you Project Online services. The customer that we were working with required Project Online only, and Microsoft provided hybrid SKU. We noticed it. Even Microsoft didn't notice what they did. There was just a mix-up, and it was double the price. So Project Online and hybrid use is for the price than just pure Project Online. Just keep that in mind. If you come across it, don't mistake read it. That negotiation process is changing and how that matches up or connects back to cloud licensing. So the things that really haven't changed, and it's the same for a licensing negotiations. You can take this to your Oracle licensing and IBM licensing and as well. Assembling a great team. I've got an in-depth slides about each one of these bullets in a second. But putting together a great team, looking at your roadmap, put together some financial analysis, understanding what's going to cost you, and risk analysis, pros, cons of one of the options. So this is a team effort. Microsoft brings of experts to the table. They do this for a living. They do this day in, day out. You don't. It's a simple fact of life. You know, dozens of contracts, various vendors, each with their own methods. You need this prepared. So you need IT, you need finance, you need executive as well. So this is really a team effort. And start off with everybody on your team. Don't start the process as a one man or one woman go to a negotiation. Microsoft has the upper hand. Keep that. So what software roadmap? So I recommend take a look at what your roadmap is. When I software roadmap, customers come back and say, what roadmap? Well, we haven't got a 3-year vision. We're just in 1 year ahead of us. You could look 12 months ahead. Even 24 months is enough, even though it's really difficult for enterprise organizations to take a long-term you. Keep in mind that Microsoft to the long term, and your organization, especially when you're moving to the cloud, this is a long-term commitment. You can't just opt in and opt out whenever you want. You can't just come back into it and say, well, we're going to be renewing. So deep look at what your current versions are being used, what upgrade cycle is. Are you able to meet Microsoft's cycle, this evergreen type of cycle? And Microsoft's roadmap, how does it link back to yours? Is there value there? Are you going to receive value? And what's happening over the horizon, mergers, acquisitions on your part? How's that going to affect your Microsoft agreement? There's a whole new world out there of adding new licenses. The old world, so to say, maybe a phrase, the current of doing it on a perpetual basis is using the true-up mechanism. I've got to add on that. And once a year, you add licenses and upfront for the total cost. It's a lot of CapEx there. When you new users throughout, you use a metric, but it's conversion. Paying for the usage of license. So you license as you go forward. It's a different way of getting users. All open. So if you've got big mergers and acquisitions coming down the line, you need to be aware of this because it's a different way of adding users and a different way of preparing your budget for the coming years. Software road mapping, you look at, of course, once you've done, you've gone through your internal due diligence, understand what your roadmap is, how it's actually being used. Again, isn't the entire negotiation process. Of course, there's a process of discovery internally, doing some internal mapping. So that's really a summarized view of the negotiation process. Don't forget, you need discovery. You need to find out what you're actually using, of the software is actually being used. So that's really the stage. It's really core kickoff stage of preparing for negotiation. So once you got the data regarding your current deployment, you know your roadmap is going to be. You start thinking about what kind of package are you looking at. Are you stay with your current EA, basically here in the middle, business as usual, or going to take a walk away? This, of course, is relevant to customers that are not yet on the cloud. Cloud, completely different ball game. So it's still like a lot of Microsoft customers not cloud yet. EA walk away, a part EA walk away, meaning not all of your Office and Windows OS components, and continuing with your eCal or CoreCal components and servers, as usual, as I mentioned. Everything is, once you start looking at Office 365, there's completely new bundles that are similar to your on-prem, but they're different, as we saw beforehand in the packages and suite. You have your E4, E5 coming, and your enterprise cloud. So it's an option for hybrid model, cloud plus on-prem. Maybe you want to combine a certain amount of online services, and you keep others on-prem. So there are various options out there today, just making it much more interesting and challenging. And you could all options. Well, not all. You need to choose 2 or 3. But from a perspective, you need to just look at the pros and cons of each one here at the top. You need to look at multiple profiles, personas. You need to look at what your personas are going to be, types of users, categorize what's going to be required from feature base. And don't get an edit calculation, because if you're looking at 3, and what I recommend is taking a 3+ year approach. It's just not enough, especially from a cloud perspective, because when you're on the cloud and actually migrated to the cloud, this is a very, very long-term relationship. So get what the NPV costs are going to be, and what the implications on the 3+ year basis is going to be. Well, what I really like is what everyone hinted of as standard SWOT. strength, weakness, opportunity, threats, and an L. That's a licensing. That's a SWOT from a licensing perspective. So again, a bit old school, I know, but I still like it. I like doing this because I like taking a look at really from internal view what we're up against. So just some examples of what I mean by a licensing SWOT. So look at the strengths quadrant. I like looking at, okay, do we have a walk-away strategy? Don't we have a walk-away strategy? Can we use it as a leverage going to negotiation? Weakness perspective, will be highly dependent on Microsoft software. Have there online? Have we got other non-Microsoft competitive products like Google or other services company that do we or don't we have? So if we depend on Microsoft, that potentially could be a weakness. If we have a hybrid model where we have Microsoft and other services, then that might be a strength. So you just have a look at what you have and how you and what your business is like, then differentiate which quadrant is going to go into. Obviously, do you have opportunities for cost savings? An example of a low-hanging fruit, my perspective, Visio and project might be paying a lot of ongoing maintenance costs for a project in Visio, but you actually, when you look at your current install base, you're actually not utilizing those upgrades. So there's a huge opportunity for savings. So those opportunities, there might be an opportunity for cost around SQL Server if you choose your metrics. Around dev tools, dev tools is a pretty complex area. You have a lot of MSDN licenses, and for the premium or for the enterprise version, is an opportunity to move down to professional edition. So to rise those, and then have the threats as well. I want to stop with this. I can go on for hours, but there's a lot that I want to still cover. Let's look quick at the negotiation side. I'm going to run through this because there's a lot I want to just cover regarding online services contractual side. So this is a beautiful quote from the Art of War from Sun Tzu, written 2,000 years ago. It's about preparation. Read this. I recommend reading the book. Find it online, download it, buy it, read it. There's so much to learn from here. It's about preparation, and know who you're up against. Here he talks about who is. Let's look at Microsoft not as an enemy, but as somebody that you're negotiating with. Learn from it. It's great. The negotiation cycle. So you've got a lot of you've got the steps such as data collection. I look at the odds are challenging. So who you're up against, some strategy, communication, and requirement documents. So benchmarking data perspective, I think this is really key. One people way perspective from peer benchmarking, it's tricky. You don't understand it and always get the right information. It can confusion or irrelevant data in mix. Go out to one of your analyst firms to get benchmark data. Look at the criteria. Make sure it's relevant to you from a geography perspective, the sector, organization size, product is similar to what you have, type of agreement. Microsoft discounts differently depending on type of agreement and product mix, and when those benchmarking when that benchmarking data was collected, the fiscal quarter, Microsoft's fiscal quarter end, error or not, makes a big difference. So just that in mind as well when you go collect the data. Odds are challenging. Know who up against. Microsoft does this for a living. You don't. It's as simple as that. This is not what you live off. Microsoft does. You do this because you do enable your organization, give them the business enabler move forward, or the technology enabler to push the business forward. Microsoft has expertise around this area. So when you get into this, it's all about teamwork. You need to get the right behind you because Microsoft has it in place. Ready measurable goals, measurable and achievable goals. BATNA, best alternative to negotiation. Basically, what alternatives are out there? Strategy. Keep true to your strategy that you put in place on Microsoft decision process, in the hierarchy that takes the discounting and concession or empowerment for discounting and concession, and also know what you want to negotiate. Know what not to negotiate. But that's more important than what to negotiate at times. It's waste time on things that can't be changed. I love having a communication plan in place. Internal, first of all, everybody on the team, especially for large negotiations, make sure on the same playing field. So get a communication plan out that you see. Make sure you have the negotiation message points really crystal clear. How to communicate the timeline, and just let everybody understand who's running negotiations. So there's a decision process circumvented by Microsoft strategy management. And it doesn't work well. Requirement document for Microsoft, be in the driver's seat, not in the passenger seat. Make sure you send out the requirement document, what you want to see. This is just an overview of how we recommend a requirement document to be. Summary, business goals, technology goals, business goals, of course. I mentioned that. Technology goals, request what options you want to see, so you define what options you want to have in there, and set out the negotiation schedule so you then are in the driver's seat. Some of the contractual terms, a lot changed. I think we're going to be able to get through everything. I want to bring to your attention what you look at, so you're aware of where everything is. Because Microsoft contracts can be pretty daunting. I'm sure you've. I'm not sure. I don't know if you've seen this before in one slide. This is Microsoft contract structure, and not everything, not all are connected when you sign an agreement. Start off just to understand the way that it's structured. On the left-hand side, let's start from the left-hand side. We have the MBA. This is the Microsoft Service Business Agreement, agreement, so to say, for everything. Underneath this, you either have an enterprise agreement or a premier service agreement. Once you have agreement, then the enrollment. So enterprise enrollment, server cloud. This replace the ECI and EAP agreement if you're acquainted with. Have an enterprise subscription enrollment. Basically, subscription. This is a subscription-based enrollment, and this is a perpetual-based enrollment over here. And as I said, I'll break up in a minute. This replaced the select agreement that everybody's aware of. It's called PSA, the Microsoft Product and Service Agreement. This actually replaces the select agreement. The reason I put this here without any connection, because this is a standalone agreement that has its own terms and conditions. Talks about it. One enterprise enrollment, you're not done. So the enrollment actually has points. It's not part of the enterprise enrollment. You need to be really aware of it. So if you get through the enterprise enrollment, you say, well, I'm done. Great. I understand exactly what I'm getting into. No, that's a mistake. The enrollment has pointers to online documents that actually are agreed to once you sign the enterprise enrollment, even if you don't read them or don't receive a copy. So responsibility actually to go up there and read product terms. The product terms, this has just been replaced, so you'll be knowledgeable about the user rights and product list documents. It's as of July. These two documents have been replaced with what's called the product terms document now. And in addition to this, again, everything's line, your responsibility. The enterprise and enterprise subscription product selection form. This is part of the enterprise enrollment. This is the enterprise product form. So this is connected to the enterprise form. This is not online. Online service terms. This is an OST. This an add-on to your enterprise enrollment. And this is the documents or the online service terms is online, and another document is either today new agreement is part of the enterprise enrollment or is an amendment. And then your SLA agreements. Something to do with SLA for online. Everything on online is SLA, because you need to know this level agreement is. It's not part of your enterprise enrollment. You need to go out there, download it, print it out, make sure you're aware of what your rights are. The Product Service Agreement, the MPSA, that just recently replaced the Select Agreement. Again, this is all about ad hoc purchasing. So you're an enterprise customer and you want to purchase something with software assurance. This is basically you go to. But not everything is in the product use right. This is a really short document these days, around 10 pages or 12 pages. But it points to the product terms or the product use rights online, and server agreements online. Your responsibility again, but everything covered by the MPSA. Look at the precedents agreement perspective. This is actually taken from the agreement. So this is not somewhere on the web. So when you sign up to a new agreement, this actually used to appear in the old. I think this was introduced 18 months ago, maybe slightly more, if I'm not mistaken. Might have never actually had any wording regarding order of precedence. They do have that today. Have a look. This is pretty interesting. The agreement is first one, then you have your enterprise agreement, enrollment. These are all online documents. The problems. This is order of precedence, product use rights, or what is called change to product terms. Submitted amendments in this agreement, and then amendments. So this is the order of precedence. Understand it, and have practices that I can recommend is these documents are all physical documents that you actually sign, and of course in enrollment. Every online document out at the date of signing, even Microsoft won't sign off on them. You put them up and ensure they are all filed away, so that you need to revert back to what rights are applicable. You have printed out, you have it available. So file with all documents, print it out. Don't leave it as a from the agreement to some online web, because just for example, what's just changed now, checklist and 2R, they're non-existent anymore. There's product term document out. If somebody comes into your position in 2 or 3 years' time, they'll have no idea what product use rights, what the product use rights was, if you print it out for them at the signing. I just want to touch on this again. There's a lot to go through here from a contractual term perspective. I just want to bring to attention because we've got 9 minutes on the clock. Right. So product use rights for all are not in your agreement. They are in the online product use rights document. So this is just something that you need to be really aware of. The product rights supersede the terms of any end user license agreement. This is interesting. And all the product rights and don'ts are not in your contractual agreement. They are a pointer. Agreements point to the online user document. Of course, something that you need to be aware of against on the web. I can't emphasize this more than I am. This is something from one of the contracts from enterprise agreement. This is interesting. Online services. Have a look. Your services will apply product use rights in effect on the subscription start date will apply to enterprises' use of the online service for the first 12 months. It means that after 12 months, actually Microsoft has a right to update and change the online service document, and you're right. So we need to this. You need to be aware of that. Something can change. This is not permanent. Have a look below again. Thing from one of the agreement from the enterprise agreement. Microsoft can modify or terminate online services due to regulatory reasons per country. So there's been some regulatory changes on a specific country, specific geography. Microsoft can terminate or change the online service agreement. You're aware of these terms. It's not on-premise. Things have changed. I mentioned previously reservation compared to true-up. So the true-up, the annual add-on of there's a new process called reservation of licenses. You reserve a license online. Basically, start using you can a license or you bring user online and then you just reserve the license. You pay for it. At the end of the year, your invoice basically retroactively. It's a complete process. Be aware of it. Get into it with it. A lot of data about transitions. Are about move back and forth between on-prem, and online terms. I said you have a window of opportunity here, an online service agreement, move back to on-prem not once, but basically within the first 2 years of the agreement. So you understand what your transition rights are, what you can transition from the cloud back to on-premise. What is going to be one of the big practices around this is to predefine transition costs are going to be in terms of the contract. So if you go into an online, if you sign a Office 365 agreement, and well, I can transition back to on-premise in terms of the agreement per the contractual terms, if there's no pricing behind that. So if you don't negotiate upfront what the price is going to be for the transition back, you'll get list price at the transition date. Microsoft won't, so that's the best practice. The effects of transitioning, I want to move forward. If renewal, you need to understand what your rights are. If you renew at the end of the 3 years, you're on a subscription service-based license. So one thing you need to just take into consideration, that Microsoft will keep your data in a limited functionality for 90 days. And then after that, they have the ability to disable your access. Aware that if you want to discontinue or there's be a non-renewal of your agreement, you need to be aware of that opportunity you have to basically transfer everything back to on-prem. 90 days, not a lot of time. Online supplemental terms, there's a lot going on in here. This is just some of the bullet points so you understand that you need to read these documents. My chair is print them out, get acquainted, read them, discuss them with Microsoft, retention of IT. So there's a lot to do about warranty of online services, privacy and security. Microsoft protect against non-Microsoft software or technology that's in use with organization and how it links up to online services. Agreement to protect, limitation of liability. Everything online, not in your agreement. And the online services terms, you have stuff like regulatory changes, what I spoke about before, data retention, compliance laws, and for the really stuff here, use of customer data, all clauses, where your data is going to rest, which country. Microsoft works with tenants. Tenants means basically where your data is going to be kept. They're going to be in the US. If you are a global company, do you want the data to be in Europe, in various countries? Or a European country, data to be in the US or not? You understand where that tenant is going to be and what the regulatory obligations are. And of course, just a level agreement you relay. So you've got to this time of some agreements, so congratulations. But all of it, I really want to emphasize, did you keep in mind everything that we've discussed? 65 options. Take to the next level, talk about pricing. Online is much more than pricing. I think we touched on just the iceberg today. Intimate online turns T's and C's. Print them, keep them, learn them, circulate them, make sure your IT is aware of the limitations. And it's here to stay. It's not a habit that's going to come, it's not a trend. This is a fact of life. So here, take it seriously, for it, and we dive into negotiations before you understand what the implications are. We're online, so online, download some of our collateral. There's data. I keep a blog on the website. There's a lot of data there. So again, feel free to information. Okay, well, thank you for staying the duration of the presentation. We've got a lot of time, but let's see if anybody's got any questions. At this time, I'll be happy to take any questions, or if you want, you can reach me down. Let me just actually say my email. If you want to just directly send me with any questions, really feel free to. Here we are. It's coming in a second. And questions, go. Okay, said as no questions. Right on time. Thank everybody very much. We've recorded as well, so we're going to be posting it online. So if you want to come review it, or you want any of your peers to review it, line by, I hope, by Monday. Thank you everybody very much, and have a great day.